SpaceHulk Death Angel the card game. This small box game is set in the Warhammer 40k universe, and it's also based on a board game from 1989 called SpaceHulk. So if you're unfamiliar with Warhammer 40k universe, a SpaceHulk is basically a spaceship that is very narrow and cramped. And in this game, you're controlling squads of space marines in formation, and they're being attacked by these aliens called gene stealers from the left and the right, and you flip the marine cards accordingly. This was the first game that introduced me to solo gaming. When I saw it in the store, I looked at the back of the box and it said 1 to 6 players, and I thought, how do you play a game like this with 1 player? So I took it home and tried it out, and I liked it. In fact, I liked it so much, I bought all 4 expansions for it. One night while playing the game, I thought to myself, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I used little SpaceHulk miniatures to deal with the threats from side to side instead of flipping the cards? Now, I don't play Warhammer, so I don't have any Space Marine minis. So I used some miniatures from Talisman to see how it would play, and surprisingly, it was pretty good. However, looking up the price of how much a Space Marine kit would cost, I decided to 3D model and print my own Marines, and also make them a little bit bigger than the 1.5-inch minis you would get with the kit. So when you play solo, you control 3 squads. That's a total of 6 Marines. So I modeled them in pairs. I gave 2 of them shields and hammers, 2 rifles, and the other 2 have these classic Warhammer guns called bolter guns. Now the Marines are not exactly Warhammer 40k accurate, but for this application, it doesn't really matter. So after modeling the Space Marines, I thought it'd be cool to make some terrain and turn the terrain into card holders and have the Marines sit on top of that. So I modeled the terrain to hold the Marines and leave a little window for the card information. So I went ahead and 3D printed the files. Now the printing process was rough, and the models, as you can see here, didn't come out 100% perfect, and they'd probably look better if I used resin printing instead of PLA, but however, I assure you, if you saw them in real life, you'd think they'd look pretty good. In any case, after testing it with the cards and the Space Marines, everything was working great, so I moved on to painting. I applied some primer and then I applied red paint to the Marines. For the platform, I combined kind of like a red, black, and yellow to make some sort of rust color, then used a dry brush technique with silver paint to give it a rusted, worn metal look. These card holders look fantastic. By the way, all the paints I've been using are just cheap acrylic paints that you get at Walmart. So once everything was painted and given a matte clear coating, I gave it a test play and it was awesome. I love playing this game with these minis. It gives it a totally different feel. It's like playing a big box game. Now the problem was they were just sitting on the shelf, and I didn't like that because they could fall off and break, or I could lose some pieces. Now a while ago while I was at the dollar store, I came across 007 Spectre the board game and thought, wow, the dollar store sells board games? So it was only $4, so I bought it, took it home, and well, to no surprise, it wasn't a great game. However, the box was the perfect size to hold all these minis and platforms, and even the original game box. Now for the box itself, I didn't want to say 007 Spectre, so what I did was I sanded down the raised lettering and gave it a quick coat of black paint. Then I glued some textured craft paper to make it look like carbon fiber, and then I printed a whole bunch of elements and glued those onto the box. These were things like corners and edging, plus all the logos associated with the game, like the main logo, all the squad logos, general Warhammer 40k logos, and the 4 expansion symbols that are placed on the 4 sides of the box. So there you have it, SpaceHulk Death Angel, the card game, the Ultimate Edition. So in the future, I'm thinking of doing a playthrough using these props, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.